artificial intelligence.
So like I can slap myself, and that wasn't really me because this is all computer generated.
Here's Brody Brazil.
This is a story that broke yesterday, and I'm still not sure that it's entirely done yet. Like there might be some more twists and turns that we'll witness. But I found the initial headline and accusations quite captivating. And from somebody like me in the media and sports and content world, I mean, this is a lot going on here that I wanted to react to. Sports Illustrated published articles by fake AI-generated writers, according to the outlet Futurism and the piece that they put out. That's right, AI as in
artificial intelligence.
Okay, so I just wanted to have some fun with that, but in reality, this is anything but humor. This is serious on two different fronts. Number one, the nature of business and what large companies are doing, replacing humans with robots, but then posing them as humans. We'll talk more about that, but the other half of it is the consumer side. The readers who would never expect anything different than, an actual human. Like, that's a stock photo, I believe, of a real human, but then you can go in and edit that face in a generator and create your own different human, put that as your bio, and create somebody that doesn't even exist and have a computer write all of their articles. And that's what is basically said here in this piece from Futurism. I'll read you a little excerpt here. There was nothing in Drew Ortiz's author biography at Sports Illustrated to suggest that he was anything other than human. And of course, why would any reader even have the assumption that, oh, that's not a person? This is not their words, that a computer made all of this up. And maybe some human at some level is overseeing all of this, but the day-to-day material that I'm reading is not actually from a legitimate human. Quote, Drew has spent much of his life outdoors and is excited to guide you through his never-ending list of the best products to keep you from falling to the perils of nature, it read. And of course, I can be a little sarcastic about this biography because it's not for an actual human being. It was probably not written by a human being. Who uses words like that? Nowadays, there is rarely a weekend that goes by where Drew isn't out camping, hiking, or just back on his parents' farm. Okay. The only problem, outside of Sports Illustrated, Drew Ortiz doesn't seem to exist. He has no social media presence and no publishing history, and even more strangely, his profile photo on Sports Illustrated is for sale on a website that sells AI-generated headshots, where he's described as a, quote, neutral white young adult male with short brown hair and blue eyes. So I take it back. The original photo wasn't even a photo. That was AI that you can modify to your desire. There's Drew Ortiz. There's Sora Tanaka. Sora's not real apparently either. But Sora has a bio, Sora has an email address, and all of this is presented as like anybody else in the media. I guess it is that easy to fake it till you make it. This is all kind of crazy, and it makes you wonder how much of this is out there elsewhere. And I don't know the answer. That's a dangerous question to ask. Maybe this was so easy to catch that it's an isolated incident. Maybe it's more widespread than we even know about. But let's get to the basics here of this entire story. Sports Illustrated, using the Arena Group, which I'm understanding is either somebody they brought in or it's their parent company. I'm not exactly sure of the total relationship there, but this Arena Group was used to create content on a large scale to do these Sports Illustrated reviews. And that's the thing here. All these allegations center around product reviews. So I want to be clear, Sports Illustrated, longtime publication, they have a reputation, they've made a name for themselves. This is not to say that somebody was writing articles about individuals, players, teams, sports, executives, the business side of sports. This seems more of like the cookie cutter stuff that a computer could actually do, and maybe nobody would even notice. So that is important here. We're not saying that AI was doing articles like pretending to be an actual person in the flesh, going out and doing things. This was much more anonymously kept, it seems, on purpose. Not that I'm making up excuses here, but I also want to understand the context of what exactly was being published. This is not like SI's main work. This is like some subsection of their website. But yes, stock and AI-generated author images and bios, stuff that probably you or I could make in about 15 minutes out on the internet. And the content was instantly gone following questions surrounding it. Like when this article came out yesterday, apparently all of the AI stuff that was pointed to and bookmarked all went away. Right? Like that's an instant sign of guilt or concern, or somebody on the inside knew things weren't right. And then SI, their writers union, they instantly responded. The humans of the SI union, as they'll say here, they responded. We, the workers of the SI union, are horrified by a story on the site Futurism reporting that Sports Illustrated's parent company, okay, so it's their parent company, the Arena Group, has published AI-generated content under SI's brand with fabricated bylines and writer profiles. If true, which it does seem like it has turned out to be true, these practices violate everything we believe in about journalism. And let me also just say this once and again, because I do say it frequently, sports isn't always journalism. Like with politics, I think there's journalism. With world events, there's journalism. Sports has journalism, there's no question about it. But sports isn't always journalism. But I do understand SI's profile and the reputation that they're aiming to maintain here. We deplore being associated with something so disrespectful to our readers. We demand answers and transparency from Arena Group management about what exactly has been published under the SI name. We demand the company commit to adhering to basic journalistic standards, including not publishing computer-written stories by fake people. We want to be very clear. What is described in this Futurism story does not represent the hardworking journalists who make up the SI union. For nearly 70 years, SI staff members have held themselves to the highest possible ethical standards. As members of the SI union, we are proud to be part of that legacy and work every day to protect it. We expect management to do the same. Signed, the humans of the SI union. And you can understand their instant displeasure to having everything they work so hard to maintain kind of cheapened by what might turn out to be true. Here's a statement from the Arena Group. Today, an article was published alleging that Sports Illustrated published AI-generated articles. According to our initial investigation, this is not accurate. Oh, really? The articles in question were product reviews and were licensed content, something that was paid for, not done by them, but purchased and brought in licensed content from an external third-party company, Advon Commerce. A number of Advon's e-commerce articles ran on certain Arena websites. We continually monitor our partners, and we're in the midst of a review when these allegations were raised. Advon has assured us that all of the articles in question were written and edited by humans. According to Advon, their writers, editors, and researchers create and curate content and follow a policy that involves using both counter-plagiarism and counter-AI software on all content. However, we have learned that Advon had writers use a pen or pseudonym in certain articles to prevent or to protect author privacy. Actions we don't condone, and we are removing the content while our internal investigation continues and have since ended the partnership. And I just go back to the anonymous part there. We're talking about product reviews here that somebody couldn't even sign their name to. If it really was written by a human, and unfortunately I wish we had the examples that were deleted still available to us, because I would have liked to have just read through like how they read. Does this look like something that a human wrote or artificial intelligence wrote? And eventually at some point AI, artificial intelligence, is going to get so good that you're really going to have a hard time telling the difference. But at this point, there are still some red flags that you might be able to see. But what's with the anonymity? If you're going to put something out there in the world and you're proud of it and you want to represent it, like put your name and your face to it. There's no reason, and there are times for anonymity. There are times where you have something so critical that you need to be protected for obvious reasons. But for a product review on Sports Illustrated's website? So here's my takeaways. Number one, all of this begins at a root level. If you're Sports Illustrated, you gave away the keys to a historic brand a long time ago when somebody else was allowed to publish content under your name. Your name, your brand, your image is everything. And once you let that slip, it's really, really hard to get back. And so that's probably something not in Sports Illustrated's decision-making process that might have happened at a level well above them. But once that happened, and some other group comes in and puts the SI name on their own content, wherever it's coming from, like this is a parent company that's hiring a third party. So like that goes to the next point to make here. This is a bad way to try and save and make more money. What is your reputation worth? I mean, apparently you're willing to let anybody like hold the microphone essentially. And I've never understood this about large companies, whether it's in media or broadcasting or other businesses. They hire communications people at the very top, well-paid, well-placed, very versed and experienced communications people to oversee like what the company is projecting out there. But then they're literally having computers working for free, publishing their day-to-day content on platforms where they're represented, like their actual work is being done either by the lowest wages or in this case, like by artificial intelligence. You can't really outsource everything. And it's kind of the natural progression here in media in general that we're seeing, the reduction of headcount. It used to be you couldn't go out and write a story unless you sent somebody out to go cover the story. They were the ones to get the interviews. They would form some analysis together. They'd piece it together. They'd send it to an editor, get spell checked, all that, and then published. Well, nowadays, it's easier to not send somebody, but to have one person go out and cover it, and then 10 other people come back and write about it in their own words and repeat what that one person originally said. That's aggregation, and that's common. And at least that is still relying on somebody with a name and a face to go out there and, represent what they're saying. And that's fine. Everybody else can have their opinion on it. Look, I do that quite a fair amount here on YouTube. I take other people's stories and their reporting. I credit them, like in this case, Futurism. I'm talking about their work, and then I add just a little something to it from personal perspective. But to try and take that next step, it's like if I didn't want to make YouTube videos anymore. Could you imagine if I just said, I'm done, I'm going to have software do all this. So like I can slap myself, and that wasn't really me because this is all computer generated. Actually, that kind of hurt. So that is me. But can you imagine that? That's the level that we're at now. We're just going to replace the one person that was aggregating with nobody for a computer to do all the work. And so that leaves me at the very end here to say to you, the person who consumes content, and you've made it here this long in the video, which I do appreciate, you are essentially going to, in the future, have to just trust and learn to trust who you trust and only who you trust. And when you see things pop along, you say, well, where did this come from? Who's the person that's literally signing their name and face and image and their respect to it? Like, who is that person? And what are they saying? At this point, if you come across just any old article that looks like a news article or that looks like a product review, you almost have to assume that it's not legit until you know it actually is. You can only literally trust who you trust. And again, we're just talking sports here. Product reviews for sports items, I suppose. Not the most important thing in the world. But what happens when it comes to actual important things in the world? You really want to be able to trust who you need to trust. So again, Sports Illustrated, not great times for them. Not great times in the media business or the sports business, just in terms of these allegations and cleaning things up. But hopefully this is a wake-up call to everybody out there in the sports world and also people who consume it. You need to take a second look at everything that you are consuming. Thanks for watching this video. You made it to the end. Thumbs up. That'll help me and the channel out down below. Also, don't forget to subscribe so I can definitely see you back here next time.